to go back to that conference room, though, a little bit. You said which was your office at the time when you first learned about some technologies and open source. So when you went back and you started your research, were you focusing on researching the technologies that you just heard about, or was that research also big chunk focusing on what this whole open source thing was?
I think it was a little bit about everything. I don't think it hit me how important and how big of a movement open source was until I got to the government. And especially when it came to the financial impact that this meant for government agencies. Because when you started looking at the procurement processes and how much countries, and this is like not limited to a single country, just governments spend millions or billions of dollars in licensing costs. And when you look at how much you're paying, and sometimes it's even like when you go to payroll systems, well, they're paying a big amount of money per employee. So when you have a very big government structure, that means a lot of money. And so that's kind of like when it hit me that it's like kind of like this financial impact that it had on the government and the operation of agencies. And then through that, and especially the time at Infotech, we started collaborating with different communities. Well, and that's when you can actually grasp how big this is and how much this community vibe that exists. Well, because we started when I was, for example, I think the first time that we actually started collaborating with one of the communities was in foreign affairs. We had a paid database. I will not say the company because I really don't like them, but it's one of those big ones that charge you a lot of money. And I remember that one day they went to threaten us and said, like, if you cancel the contract, the whole agency will fall down. And I was kind of like, well, maybe that will work with somebody else, but I've already done this once and nothing happened. So I'm happy to try it again and see what happens. Nobody will die, I'm sure about it. And then we started talking to some people in one of the communities that they really came to us and they said, like, we're happy to advise you for free just because we want to push the use of open source. And we were migrating everything into a Postgres database at the time. So that became a really interesting project because the stuff that we were moving was actually national security level data. And so taking those risks were really fun, but that's when you suddenly realize that there's this whole community out there of open source that are like-minded people that also want to do things a better way, and they are just interested in pushing technology, that are actually willing to go out and help you out and advise you and give you tips on how to do this and that. And it's not even because they want to make money out of it. It's just because they're passionate about it and that they're true believers that it can happen. So that just led to conferences and input, open infra, and all these kind of things. So that has been, I think it's been a really great ride, and you meet really interesting people like you guys.